Hello and welcome to my video essay. I am Luke Palmer, and my question for this video essay is: how have PSB public service broadcasting values altered from the 20th century to the 21st as illustrated through cooking shows? Before we answer the question, I ask what is PSB. Within the book An Introductory History of Broadcasting, 2nd edition by Andrew Crissell, I found this, quote, "Broadcasting is a precious national resource, too precious to be used merely to deliver audiences to advertisers or even to wireless manufacturers. It should instead be developed into a comprehensive public service." End quote. This quote came from the man John Reith, who was appointed general manager, but essentially he came at public service broadcasting, which came with its own tax and a say for what the people wanted to watch on their TV and be entertained by. This was much needed after the war when morale was low, but let's get back into the topic on hand. During this video essay, I will be exploring the change in PSB through cooking shows, focusing on the change in presenters' ways of addressing an audience, through tone of shows, and showing how PSB changed to keep up with the times, allowing for such belligerence as Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen of Hell. Whilst watching Fanny Cradock invite you to a wine and cheese party, which aired the 22nd of July 1970, I observed the following. The intro ends and begins with a very upper middle class voice, Cradock. Her clothes are buttoned up and smart, and her hair is tied back immaculately with a bow. It's very representative of the 1970s and this middle class values people wanted and expected to see on TV. There are two cameras used, the main focusing on Cradock and the background as a wide shot, and the second to focus on the close-ups. While she cooks, she talks to the audience, giving advice and tips on cooking and home appliances.
And now this is the part I want you to listen to, because these really are fabulous, not only for a cheese and wine party, but also for dinner parties and supper dishes.
Here we can acknowledge these upper to middle class values through tone of voice and what she's saying, how dinner parties are said so casually, as if it's a thing one does all the time. Finally, Cradock composes herself in a very professional yet kind manner and hopes you'll join her for the next episode next week. However, there is a dramatic shift in TV, as seen in Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. Not only is TV now allowing belligerence, but we see the competition side for cooking shows. Whilst watching episode 1 of UK's Hell's Kitchen, which aired the 23rd of May 2004, I noticed this change. Unlike Cradock, Ramsay shouts, swears and treats cooking like it's life or death. Not only is he stressed, but the contestants are stressed as well. However, unlike in the USA, the contestants on this show are celebrities. Ramsay says in Hell's Kitchen, there is no such thing as a celebrity and they will just be treated as cooks. The structure of the show features presenters, live telly, and inclusivity of the general public to get involved and vote out a celebrity each week. Unlike Cradock getting viewers to follow along with her cooking tutorials, we now see viewers engaged with booting off a contestant. The show is very informal, working class values come through heavily. So why? How did cooking shows change from wine and dine cheese parties to watching a man shout bloody murder and make people cry? Well, the 1980s. This saw a rise of ordinary TV. So to put it simply, PSB values changed. Gone was the need or want for this formal style of cooking. Instead, audiences are now watching and wanting more shows which featured ordinary members of the public, them if you will. So, informality was seen in cooking shows. No more a tutorial, but rather a conversation from presenter to spectator. Middle class values were being left in the past, and the new age of working class values, inclusivity, was what the masses wanted. Let's go back in time though. From this new demand, what actually changes? At first, we must understand TV enters this multi-channel era, and suddenly channels are competing for audiences. Crystal notes this saying, quote, "Could public service broadcasting survive in a competitive environment?" End quote. He goes on to say, quote, "It will be remembered that the latter was dedicated to two aims, to provide something for everyone and everything for someone." End quote. However, in the face of ITV, that seemed a hard task to manage. Moreover, Reithian's way of PSB did not meet the audience need. Crystal continues, quote, "But when the listeners and the viewers were given a choice of networks, the second of these aims was no longer achievable." End quote. And the post-Reithian era began. So channels that did not keep up with expectations or public demands found themselves with less viewers, and with multi-channels comes a platitude of shows and an audience spoiled for choice, noted by Jonathan Bignell in An Introduction to Television Studies. Quote, "Because of the variety of different kinds of programs and advertisement which television broadcasts, television as a medium appears to offer an almost unlimited range of information and entertainment." End quote. As we move through time, we see an era of competition, audiences watching people like them compete for money, fame, and a new life. And there's no exception for cooking shows. Shows like MasterChef, which aired the 2nd of July 1990, Hell's Kitchen, 23rd of May 2004, and The Great British Bake Off, 17th of August 2010, took rise and notoriety. People loved the ordinary people competing, and on account of Gordon crying. Entertainment demands of cooking sees a shift from Cradock to this new and dominating era. So, now in modern TV, what, if anything, has stayed the same? Well, fortunately for those who prefer a more middle-class outlook, we still, to this day, get cooking shows of that variety, through Clarissa Dixon Wright and her show, Clarissa and the King's Cookbook. Having watched it, I found similarities to Cradock from the upper-class Middletown episode. The way she dresses, very upper middle class, her hunting look completely, to what she said, for example,
A most beautiful room.
and whilst finding a pudding, saying,
One recipe I found in the form of curry reads like a classic modern pudding. All of us will have eaten a version of it, probably, but so did Richard II. Here's his pears poached in red wine.
And much like Cradock, she carries herself in a proper and upper-class composure. Overall, it is clear to see that PSB continues, and with a whopping total of 51 culinary shows currently airing in the UK alone, according to a quick Google search, maybe there is something for everyone and nothing for someone. It seems PSB survived and flourished, albeit changed drastically to keep up with the forever changing timeline. As noted by Van den Bolk and Moe, as, quote, as public service broadcasting has travelled in time and space, it has changed. Thank you for watching my video essay. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Sorry about the audio. Bye.